A hidden gem is something small and special. It's a treasure waiting to be discovered. And right now, YouTube is full of hidden gems. Small channels sharing incredible stories, heartfelt advice, amazing adventures, and just everyday nuggets of wisdom. And what's really amazing, many of these channels are being launched by seniors, retirees, older people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Seniors are the fastest growing segment of YouTube channels. Hi, I'm John. I'm 61 years old, and welcome to my channel. This is day 50 of my YouTube journey. And to celebrate, I thought I'd share some of the things I've learned along the way. As of right now, I've got 6 videos on YouTube, and I think they're doing pretty well. I haven't gotten explosive, amazing growth. It's been more slow and steady, but it's been good, and it's been a very positive journey. I retired about 5 months ago, and part of what I was looking to do as a special passion project was to create a YouTube channel. And at this point, I want to share a pretty open, honest view of what it's been like, some of the lessons I've learned, a few tips I've picked up along the way, and mostly to share some words of encouragement around those out there who are thinking about starting a channel, or who maybe started a channel and are sort of struggling to get going. Or if you're here and your channel is going gangbusters, I hope you're going to share some of what you've learned in the comments. So let's get started. So I think most new YouTubers, myself included, when you're thinking about getting started or just getting started, there's 3 obstacles that are probably holding you back. They're typically ideas. So I hear a lot of people say, I wouldn't know what to talk about. I don't know what a good topic is. So that's one. Another is confidence. I'm worried about looking into the camera and telling my story, and what if I don't look right, and what if this doesn't go well? That's another, right? And then the third is technology, and not just the online technology or the YouTube technology, but what kind of gear do you need? What are some of the things that I need to get started? Well, the good news is you can overcome all 3 of these because it really doesn't take much to get going. And I hope you'll stick around to the end because I have a little bonus I want to share. Something that's really helped me not just get going, but sort of pick up my momentum and continue to grow as I move along on this journey. All right, lesson number 1. You have to start somewhere, and somewhere is right here. Everybody has that first video. I remember mine. I look back at it and I think it's actually kind of funny right now. And things like, again, those things we talked about, confidence, how do I even go about uploading? This is all just so new that there's a reality. You kind of do, and you're going to hear this advice a lot, you kind of need to just go for it. People come into this with different skill sets, different things that they know or do. And I know a lot of folks, look at this and the tech is a little intimidating. And I'm not a super great editor for sure. That's not what a hobby is. If I was a professional, I'd probably be doing something else. But I like doing it. And so, for me, that part felt a little easier. I had this sense that I knew how to take a video, maybe do some interesting animations or some other, cuts and segues between sections. But for me, the hardest part was this. It was, just the intimidating thought of looking right into that camera lens and talking. I did what a lot of people do. I watched a lot of videos, and I came to realize that, how you talk to the camera is really your own individual style. And so what could go wrong? It's if you're thinking about starting that first video, and you're worried about how you're going to look on camera, it's not going to matter that much. For better or worse, not that many people are actually going to even see your first video. You can go look at my first video. The lighting was awful, but I got started. And so one of the things I think a lot of people think about is, well, what do I say? Like, how do I get started? So many videos and so many channels start with just that introduction. Talk about yourself. You can just, why are you here? Why are you doing this? What are your hopes for this channel? Maybe you've got a little story to tell. It's all good, because in the end, that first video is just that first step. It's exactly that. Tech tip number 1, you really don't need a lot to get started. So if you want to see, let's take a look. So this is my recording space. So I'm basically up in my attic. And this was a room in the house that was available, kind of away from everything. And I went with a pretty basic setup. So my first video, I didn't have any lighting. I just sort of sat right here, camera up there. And now I've changed a couple of things. So here, if you want to take a look. So I did add lighting. So I added these two diffused lights right there. That I think has helped just me feel better about the way the videos look. I don't know if they're fabulous compared to others, but again, I'm not a videographer, so I'm just trying to, have something that looks pretty good. And then I got these two LED lights. So there's one there, and there's one over here. Yeah. And what I understand, and I watched a video about this. There's plenty out there. If you just Google or if you search YouTube lighting, you'll see. I think these help a bit. One kind of lights up the background, and the other one is a backlight, which helps make it easier to see me differentiated from the background. Like I said, I'm not a videographer. That's how I understand it. But take a look. And if you've got tips about lighting, please leave them in the comments. I think this is something that a lot of us think about. But that's it. That's my setup. Other than that, you saw my stand-up desk with a big screen because my eyes aren't what they used to be. And I don't put much. I don't mind showing. Like my screens, they're like a picture with a few words on them. I don't write detailed scripts. It's probably obvious. Lesson number 2, your first few videos will probably be a little rough, but learning from them is how the good stuff happens. The deal is these first few videos are going to be rough. You're going to learn with each one. I'm learning right now. I'm learning. But this is when the magic happens. This is when you go from being a person who posted one video to having a channel. And the channel is about more than just how your videos are going. It's about your audience and doing something worthwhile for your audience. So for me, that was the biggest lesson. As I posted my first video, I talked about myself and I talked about why I was retiring at 61. Now, as I post videos, I'm really always picturing my audience. And I'm thinking to myself, what can I say to all the folks who are taking just a few minutes out of their day, who are interested in watching what I put out? And and it's kind of amazing to me that like a few thousand views have come out of these videos. So now I feel like my audience is really the most important part. I want to share things that help my audience. My channel is mostly about retirement and what it's like getting ready for retirement. What are some of the decision process you can go through to retire? But I created this video because one of the things I realized as I was putting out my channel and my videos is that there's a lot of retirees who are trying to do this right now. And so I'm picturing them, I'm picturing you, and I'm just thinking about like, what can I say? What can I do that will help you if you're thinking about doing this, or if you just got started, or maybe you've been trying a little bit and it's not going anywhere, or maybe you're having great success. But what's really great and what's happened in some of my other videos, I'll bet there's people watching this who already have experienced some of what you're worried about. There's people watching this who have had some challenges. There's a couple people who have figured it out. I've seen it happen. I've watched a couple of videos. I was watching a couple channels recently where people were getting a little discouraged, and then man, something clicked, something popped. And I bet if they're watching, please help others here. Like what worked for you. Think of yourself, not just as a bunch of videos. You're a channel, and that means you have an audience, and that's where you should be putting your focus. Lesson number 3, we all have superpowers. We just need to find them. So this one, I think it comes up a lot. Like we look at other channels and it seems like everybody's got that secret sauce, that magic. I look at a lot of videos and I think, wow, like what is it that's just making this channel be so amazing and grow? And the more I looked at it, and again, I'm still working my way through this, but I believe this. I believe you have a superpower. Everyone does. You just haven't found it yet. So I believe our superpowers are really at the intersection of 3 things: our ideas, our voice, and our experiences. So here's what I mean by that. So our ideas. Talked about this. People talk a lot about like, oh, what's my topic? What should I talk about? And the first thing is, everybody's got ideas. I mean, you could talk about, right now there's channels where people talk about, honestly, almost nothing. They talk about what's going on in their day. I've watched a channel where the fella every day, it's kind of a vlogging style, and he talks about everything from where he is that day to something he learned. We're all, having experiences, so, you can talk about that. But I think the first thing that happens is people think, well, but everybody's talking about retirement. Everybody's talking about what it's like to have a YouTube channel. And that may be true, but that's where this second piece comes in. And it's your voice. So even if that a bunch of people are talking about, I don't know, model trains or traveling to Europe or camping, hiking, cooking, pick a topic, whatever you want to talk about, you're you. You have your personality, you have your own voice. So now when you put these things together, those ideas with who you are and your own style, it starts to be a little bit more unique, right? It's now that combination. And then the third, and for especially for us that are a little older, seniors, folks, again, 50s, 60s, we've got a lot of really good life experiences. And when you put this together, our ideas, our style, our voice, and those experiences, well, right there. That's the magic. That's the superpower. It's that unique combination that's really only you. I mean, you can overthink the ideas part. I think people spend way too much time trying to find the perfect title and that one idea that's going to be so amazingly special and unique that their video is going to get millions of views. It might happen. I've seen it happen. I've enjoyed it watching it happen with a couple of channels I really like. All of a sudden, that video happens and they blow up, and that's great. But it doesn't have to happen. You can grow your channel slowly, organically. You can figure things out as you go. That's what makes this journey so amazing. So another thing that's really amazing about YouTube is there are just so many opportunities to learn new things. I feel like with each video, I'm learning something new. It's whether it's something about how to write good titles, how to put things in the description that create chapters. There's settings to learn about. There's analytics that I hadn't seen before that are telling me more about my audience and what to do next. One of the things I've really enjoyed learning is about thumbnails. So I personally like creating thumbnails. I use a tool called GIMP. It's completely 100% free. It's actually an open source tool that's been around for years. I used it with previous jobs when I was working, and it's really easy to learn. I'll put a link in the description, and like I said, it's free. So take a look at it. It's a good beginner's tool. But it does all the same things that a lot of the more advanced tools do. And for thumbnails, pretty straightforward. This is the neat thing I learned about YouTube and thumbnails. I don't know, maybe did you know there's a way to test multiple thumbnails with a single video? It's the thumbnail test. I hadn't seen this until I was a couple of videos in, and then I started trying it. And it's pretty neat. So when you go to put your thumbnail associated with your video, you click this button that says test, and basically at that point you can upload 3 thumbnails for the same video. And what the algorithm does behind the scenes is it will test each of these thumbnails somewhat randomly with different audiences, and it sees which one is getting the most clicks based on that thumbnail. So you get a couple things out of this. One is, if you're not sure what you want to do in your thumbnail, this is certainly a way to try a few and see which one is sticking, because it'll declare a winner after a little while. But the other thing, and what I like about it, is it gives me an opportunity to experiment with different thumbnail layouts, different fonts in the words on the thumbnail, different backgrounds, and just try a few subtle changes and see if there's anything that stands out. I've tried a couple of times where I've just changed the background, and it's really interesting to see how something as subtle as changing the background on a thumbnail can lead to more clicks. And now for the bonus. Growth comes from improvement. Let's look at Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy that promotes the idea that big successes or long-term success comes from a series of small changes. And when you're starting a YouTube channel, we look around and we see, oh, some channel got thousands of views, or this one seems to be an overnight sensation. But for a lot of us, YouTube is going to be a journey and a growing experience, and it can get confusing. I have to learn this, I have to check all these things. So if you try and do it all at once and just keep swinging for the fences like your next video is going to get 1 million views, you're going to miss the opportunity to start small, grow, learn, and enjoy. And that's part of the cycle too. The next thing is you're probably going to get confused trying 20 different things every time you publish a video. Or you're going to get a form of analysis paralysis by just thinking and checking and trying and researching before you put that video up. Instead, go on a Kaizen journey every time you publish a video. And this is what I do, publish a video. Yeah, maybe there's something I heard that I want to try. Maybe there's a different technique I want to try with lighting or setup. Maybe it's a different style of video like I talked about before. So as you go through this cycle, each time you publish a video is a learning opportunity. So think about, as you're getting ready to publish, what's the 1 or 2 things that you haven't tried yet that you're going to try this time? And then let it take its course. Let the video sit. Sometimes it takes a few days before views start ticking. I've seen a couple of videos that I published where I was really discouraged. One, it looked like it sat at 16 or 17 views for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden I looked at the app and I was amazed to see it was just steadily ticking up. That's the algorithm, that's the audience, that's things happening behind the scenes that you have no control over. So let it take its course, give videos a couple of weeks, and then look at what happened. And then ask yourself, did that thing I changed make a difference? Is there something else I could do? If it didn't make a difference, well, then don't worry about it. Either if it made sense, you can leave it. If it didn't, take it out. But it's that opportunity to say, well, what else can I try? Sometimes you'll see something that kind of works. And if you got a really good opening in your video, or you had a good hook, or your thumbnail really, really made a difference, well, there you go. You found your style. And it's that adding every cycle, doing a little something. It's like revving something up. It's like if you had a wheel, and you were just, every time it had a cycle, you gave it a little boost, eventually it's spinning pretty quick. That's Kaizen. And that's a great way to go about your YouTube channel. I'm enjoying it this way, and it's making me think about my channel different. And it's really helping me to think about how I want to approach this and how I look at this as an opportunity to grow my channel, grow myself, and keep learning. All right, well, thanks for joining. That was a lot of fun, which leads me to one last double bonus. So I want to say, whatever your approach, however you're going about this, please do one thing. Have fun. Because honestly, as someone who's retired, who's doing this after a long career, if this is not fun, I'm going to come up with a different way of doing it. And I hope that's the same for you. Having a channel can be a lot of fun, but like anything in life, it can get to be a little bit of an obsession, and we can turn this into something that is not so fun. And with that, maybe drop some comments about where you are in your journey, because I think there's a few of us who are all learning, and I'd love to look at your channels. Maybe we can look at each other's. Have a great day.